Now, in this example, so we have provided with some of the other drawings as well that includes features. Okay, so something that will be importing inside our support_tool drawing. Okay, so this is the features folder, which would be inside the starter files. And inside the starter files, there'll be another folder called as features. So you can go over there and we'll be importing whole edge_tool drawing inside our component that is currently open. Now, before importing, I'd like you all to open that particular drawing. So you can do that from within the software, or you can directly double click it within the file explorer. So any which way, it's fine. So I'll just open it within the software itself. I'm going to features folder, and whole edge_tool drawing is what I want you all to open. And over here, I want you all to notice the way the geometry has been modeled. So if you go to the layers section, so you can bring in a dockable panel of layers from within the panel section. So right click on the panels and go to the layers, make sure it's checked, and you get the layers dockable panel over here. And then there are two layers that says BC subtract, BC_subtract, and BC_unite. Okay, so BC_subtract means that whatever is under that particular layer, or whatever solid is under that particular layer, it will get subtracted when we insert it upon a component into a new drawing. Likewise, BC_unite does mean that whatever is under that particular layer, it will get added to the part wherein we are importing it to. So you can simply hide the other layers to see what's in that particular layer. So this is the hole that we want to create in another component. And we have specifically named it as BC_subtract, so that whenever we try to import it in another drawing or another component and place it over any solid model, it will subtract this portion from that particular model. Okay. Likewise, if you want to see the BC_unite, just switch on that particular layer, and there's the groove that we are going to add whenever we import this particular component inside our drawing. So we will see what actually happens when we try to import it. Now, this is the model, and over here under the mechanical browser section, you could also see that this model is completely parametric. That is, the parameters have been assigned, the dimensional and the geometric constraints have all been assigned for you. And you can also tweak around with this dimensions. So let's say if I want to change the diameter for this particular component, as of now, it's 1/2 inch. I want to make it 1/4, so I can do that. Just hit enter once you type in a new value, and now it's 1/4 inch of a diameter of this particular model. Also, I can, if I want to change the edge angle, let's say to a newer angle, 55 degrees, hit enter, and the edge angle would change respectively. So I'm just doing an undo for you to be, so you can work along with these parameters by yourself, just to explore it a bit more on how the changes would affect the entire geometry. And just close it to say no, because I don't want to save any changes for that particular model, right? The next step says that I need to be able to import the drawing, the whole _edge drawing, into my current model over here. So for that, I can execute two separate steps to do the same thing. I can insert it as a component from over here, or I can even type in the command bm insert to insert the component. Right? So as soon as I type it, it would ask me for the DWG file that I want to insert. And then you can simply select that file you want to insert and just open. Right? Okay. Now, when you type in and bring in the command or bring in the profile that you want to insert, it will ask you for the position where you want to insert it upon. Yesterday, we saw how do we snap across. I'll just hide this properties section. So yesterday, in yesterday's session, we saw how do we place profiles upon one another using the snap settings. So over here as well, I would like you all to make sure that your eSnap settings are on. You can toggle it off or on from the status bar. And within the eSnap settings, your center setting is switched on as well. Right? You can get the access from over here, or you can simply go onto the model space. If you do not want to go to the status bar, just hold your shift button and do a right click. So you get access to all the snap settings right at your cursor. So you can activate it from there as well, right? And I wanted concentric across this particular arc that's there. And I'm not sure if it's visible to you all on the screen, but I can see the center snap, and I'll just snap it across the center for this particular arc. As soon as I do that, my component is inserted inside this drawing. You can also see that there's an instance that is created inside the mechanical browser. All right. Now I want to place multiple such inserts inside this drawing. So I will create two more inserts, one across this particular position and one across this particular position. Okay, so I just type in BM insert once again. I'll select the drawing. And this time around, since I do not want to keep on executing the BM insert command, I can type in U or select this multiple option so that once I insert one component, it will not go off. It will give me another instance for me to be able to insert it on another position at another place. Okay, so once I select multiple, you will see what happens. And I'll just insert it over here. Of course, so you can, in case if you're not sure whether it's getting snapped, so you can always lock the plane just by pressing the shift button. Okay, or you can simply go to the arc over here and snap to the center. And once you have snapped it, you are ready to go for the next instance. So since I'd selected multiple, it did not go across and I did not have to execute the BM insert command once again. Right, so my two instances are inserted it right across this particular solid, and I want to insert another instance over here right across this semicircle arc. So I can do that simply by hovering over this and snapping onto the center over here. And once I do that, I'm ready to go for the third instance as well. And once I'm done inserting the components, I can simply press escape or do a right click. You can do that and all my instances have come across. So there's hole with edge, semicolon 1. That's the first instance that I have inserted over here. Hole with edge, semicolon 2, the second instance, and hole with edge, semicolon 3. And as you can see from the mechanical browser, all of these instances have come along with the parameters. So there is diameter, there's depth, there's neck. Okay, so all of these instances have come along with the parameters as well. Now, if you go to the layout section, you see there are these holes that I created have just now been recently added. So the geometry and the drawing gets directly updated. That is, the 2D drawing would get directly updated with the changes that I made in the 3D model. So since I just very recently added all of these three holes over here, I go to the layout section, the three holes are right now present. Okay. If I were to delete one of this hole, let's say I delete this particular insert, you can do that simply selecting it and deleting it. And you go to the layout space over here again. So one of the instance will vanish away since I've deleted it from the main model. So this is how the auto update takes place in BricsCAD Mechanical from 3D to 2D. Likewise, if I again insert it just by executing the same command, BM insert, now insert it once again and snap it to the center here. I have another instance. So this is another instance that I just created. And if I go to the layout space once again, the instance is back to its original place. Right? So the auto updation does take place. And in case if the auto update is not happening at your end, make sure under the annotate tab, the auto update view is switched on. Okay, so it does control whether the drawing views are updated automatically or not when the source model changes. Okay, so this is what controls the auto updation of the drawings. Now, let's say I were to change the parameters of the instances that I have, since I do have the parameters inside my drawing. Okay, the parameters that are assigned to the model have been brought across when I do insert it inside the drawing as well. And now if I want to change from 12.7 to, let's say, 7 mm. Okay, so the change did happen. Now, one thing I'd like you all to notice over here as well is, in the main model, the parameters were in inches, but since I'm using an mm template over here inside my support_true drawing, the insertions have been done with the help of in metric units as well. So this is something that is not required to be done manually. It will automatically map onto the insertion units that are there for that particular drawing settings. Now you can change the depth as well in case if you would want to change. So you can change all of these parameters at once. So all I would do is select all the 3 diameters of all the 3 instances of this particular component, give 7 as the value and hit enter. And all of these holes have now changed with a diameter of 7. And if I want to change the depth of the hole that has been cut, so I can select the depth all at once and I can change it to 0.8 if I need to change it. Simply hit enter and the depth would change to 0.8. So again, since with the help of parameters, you can very well manage the sizes that you would want inside your drawing. And this is the power of parametrics inside BricsCAD Mechanical. Now, since I've changed inside the solid model or the source model over here, my drawings also would be getting automatically updated based on the parameter values that are added. So as you can see, the diameters of the holes as well as the depth have just got updated and upgraded. Okay. So this was one instance wherein we inserted a component and changed its parameters. There's another drawing that has been provided to you with the training set called as RIB. So I want you all to open the RIB drawing as well and just examine it for a second. The layers that are associated with this particular component is just BC unite. That means that whenever we'll be inserting this particular component, it is just add material and it will not delete or subtract any material from the base model. Also, it has been assigned different parameters. That means it has been made fully parametric. Some things that we can change inside the main model as well. Now, let's say, for example, if you want to insert this RIB component, then and again, inside each and every single drawing that you are working on, or very often you have the requirement to insert this RIB, using the BIM insert command, executing it each time is a bit of a tedious job. So for that reason, what you can do over here is you can save this component inside your library. That is, you can create a custom library for a part of your choice. Now, you can create it with the help of this plus icon over here. In order to get the library section inside your document panel section, just go to the panels once again and go to the library. Just make sure it's checked. And once it's checked, you should be able to see the library inside your interface as well. Okay. So there are inbuilt libraries that are available in BricsCAD Mechanical. That includes building libraries, store libraries, furnishing element libraries, and even 2D libraries. So furniture 2Ds, fire protection 2Ds. Okay. So something that is there inbuilt. But of course, you can create your own customized libraries as well. So we'll be doing that for this particular RIB inside our drawing. All you need to do is just click on this plus icon that is there on the bottom corner. So as soon as I click on the plus icon, it executes a command called as create library block. So either you can execute it using this particular command, or you can simply select this plus icon and you'll get the interface of adding a block or a drawing to the library. In this case, you can select entities inside the drawing to be added to the library, or you can ask the software to add the entire drawing to the library. So over here, we'll be adding the entire rib to the library, but in case if there are some complicated parts and if there's just some amount of it that needs to be added inside the library, we can select entities manually as well. Okay, so just give it a name. So I'll call it rib and choose a category. Okay, so in order to choose or create a category, you can select from the existing categories that are there inside BricsCAD. So for example, as you can see on the left-hand side, the same categories would be available over here as well. So there is a building category, door category, fire protection 2D category, so on and so forth. Okay. But if you need to create your own custom category, as it's mentioned in the PDF guide, all you need to do is type in the category name. So demo in this case. Okay, so you can simply type in the name and BricsCAD would create the category for you by itself. So you need not create an additional folder for you to be able to bring it up here. It's just you need to type in a name, and in case if it's not there, BricsCAD would automatically create that particular category for you. Now this is the storage location. In case if you want to change the storage locations, that's another procedure altogether. However, I just recommend you all to be with the default storage location at present. So there's C program databases components is where you would find all the library parts. Okay, and under show options, you can select what would be the insertion units for the parts. So it would be either millimeters and any of the insertion units that you would want to have. So you can keep it in inches or depending upon the type of units that you'll be working with. Now, once that is done, you just click on create. Okay, so as soon as you click on create, you see there's a category called demo that has been created right now. And once I click on demo, you get the rib inside it. Okay, so the thumbnail is automatically created and the status of it is something that you can confirm from the command line as well. So creating block library, generating thumbnails is done. So once you see this particular message, that means your component has been successfully added inside the library. Okay, now once it's been added to the library, I'll just close this particular drawing to say no. Okay, and now I'll open my library over here once again. Go to home, so I get a demo category inside this particular part as well. And inside the demo category, I have this rib component. Okay, now in order to insert this particular component inside this particular drawing, is just click it once, left click once, and you'll be able to bring that component inside that drawing. So as I was mentioning earlier, you need not again and again execute the BIM insert command to be able to add a component that's recurring, okay? Or you have a requirement of adding it multiple times. You can just simply save it in your library and get it accessed each and every time from within it. So you have this particular component, and the next step is to position it. So we'll be positioning the component on the circular surface over here to give the component extra, or to give the model an extra support with the help of this ribs. And in order to do that, two things is something that we need to take care of. The first one is the dynamic UCS needs to be on. Okay, if it's off, I'll not be able to place it across the cylindrical surface. As you can see, it does not map. And if I keep it on, I can simply hover over the cylindrical surface and I can place it across the cylindrical surface. The next thing that I want to do is place it at a certain quadrant position. So in order to place it at a certain quadrant position, I should be able to map at a quadrant point. So in order to do that, I'll just hold my shift button and do a right click. Okay, so I get all my entity snap options and I'll select snap to quadrant. Okay, so snap to quadrant option helps me to snap to the quadrant of that particular cylindrical surface. And as soon as I'll bring it over here, I can snap it onto that particular cylindrical surface. Okay, so that is how I can position my rib the way I want it to be. So all you need to do is bring in the component, hover over the cylindrical surface, do a shift right click to be able to snap to the quadrant of the cylindrical surface. And once you select the snap of that quadrant, snap to quadrant, you'll be able to select the quadrant of the cylindrical surface. So 3 simple steps. The next thing over here is to create an array for this rib component. Okay, so in order to do that, I'll go to my solid ribbon. Okay, so the solid tab. And over here, I have an option of creating arrays, right? So I can create a rectangular array, polar array, or a path array. So in this case, I'm creating a polar array. So I'll select this particular option. Okay. Now, one thing I'd like you all to know before selecting the polar array is, as soon as I add this particular component, it unites with the main component, right? So I'm able to select this particular faces. I'm not able to select the component as a whole. So this is where it gets united with the base model, right? And in order to do a polar array, so I'd be selecting this line that's there. Okay, now this is the layer portion of it. I'll select the line to create a polar array for. Now the entities in the set are 1. Okay, once I do that, I'll hit enter. And now it's asking me to choose the center point for the array. So since it's a polar array, I can choose this particular center point as the reference. Since I want to revolve around this particular cylindrical surface, so I'll choose this particular point as a reference. And now I can get an array for the ribs across this particular cylindrical surface. Right? And now the next thing you can toggle is the various options that are available with the array part. So I have items in it. I can choose the number of items. So at present, there are 6 number of items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can change it to 8 or 4, depending upon the requirement that I have. So I'll enter 6 as of now. And then I can make it associative, change the base points and fill angles and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of other properties that you can explore as well. Now, once I'm happy with the type of geometry that's being placed, I'll simply hit enter. Okay. And as soon as I hit enter, the ribs are getting successfully placed. Once you go to the mechanical browser, you can also see for that particular rib that there's a polar section that's been created, which says that the source part for that polar array is the rib. Okay, so that is what it says, and the rib has parameters to it as well. So the rib has got parameters, which has then been arrayed into polar, and the polar array has got parameters to it as well. Okay. Now, what the parameters of polar array are that you can control is the type of direction of the rotation. So you can choose it to be clockwise or counterclockwise. If you want to change the radius of the circle they are placed upon, so you can do that. So for example, if you want to increase it to 80, you can increase it to 80. Likewise, if you want to bring it back to normal, on. I'll just do the array once again. Okay, so if you go to polar, get this particular options to change with, and if you want to change the number of rib sections that you have from 6 to 8. So simply enter it and you get and change the number of rib sections. Okay. So this is something that you can explore as well, wherein you get all the parameters regarding the array as well as regarding the rib as well. So if you want to change the angle or the height of it, you can do it within the main top level assembly, since the parameters are all made available. Now you can go to the layout to see the changes in the drawing, since the drawing views have been kept to update. So you can see how the ribs, additional ribs have been added to the sections as well as to the top views and the bottom views that we have here. Now, if I go to the model view once again, I can see the angle, click on the expression, and if I want to change it now to 55, I can simply do it, hit enter, I get an angle over here. And if I want to change the height to, let's say, 43 mm, I can do that just to extend the support of the rib for my component. And now if I go back to my layout, these changes should be reflected back as well. Right? So this is what we can do with the help of parameters inside the assembly drawing files. And this completes the first exercise that we have. So I'd request you all to practice in the breakout session, and please do let me know if you have any queries. So we have almost 20 minutes for the breakout session, wherein you can practice the things that I just shown. And in case if you do have any queries, please do let me know.
Download BricsCAD today and start your free 30-day trial.